All right. To
So,
answer the question, um, most of my clients look at this digitally, and if they were to ask, "Oh, and it's a bit too dark, brighten it," I will show you what I do here in a second, which is more of a naturalistic brightening of the image. But I know, yeah, I do. I get that question a lot. It's like a lot of your images are really dark, both in thematically and visually. They go in. How do you first of all, how do you paint in the darks? Second of all, how do your clients react? Um,
hey, so sorry to interrupt. Your audio is just a bit quiet, like last
quiet.
time when you rejoined.
Okay. Okay. It should work
Well, there
now.
you go.
How about?
That's much better. Thank
Okay,
you.
good. Is this better?
Yeah, yeah, it's a big improvement.
Okay.
Thanks.
Um, yeah. What was I saying? I think as long as I'm mindful of that problem, there is no problem. But if I did an image, let me save this. Actually, smoke doesn't move like this. Let me just do this really quick. Sorry, and I'll show you an example of a. Just kind of. I don't want the smoke to look like it's coming out of a freaking chimney. I just want it to feel like there's atmosphere. So, kind of using that smoke to blend the value here between the dress and. I mean, that's kind of neat. Maybe I could do that here as well. Like create more of a visual transition. This because really this is how we'd probably see the smoke. We wouldn't actually see white smoke. We'd see the atmosphere that it's created. So in that sense, I gotta add more to the atmosphere. Why are you smoking in here? Okay, so let's see. File, save. This is what I do sometimes. I go selective color. Actually, I do this all the time. And I up the blacks. This kind of brightens the image for a client that wants to print or uh, basically removes the, the complete black from a painting and fades it out, and it comes out looking all right. But it's to me, it's a cinematic way because film is never really this. Although this is pretty damn rad for a feeling like, whoa, what the hell? But this gives more information. So, um, to answer your question, yeah, I mean, it's it's more about making sure that things that are important to be seen are seen. That's it. Like they want, if you have a hunch that they will probably definitely want to see the face clearly, or visibly, you might as well do that, even if they haven't said it to you. If you have a hunch that, oh, I'm doing too many shots of backs of the heads of people, and they're going to want to see the actors, show the actors. You know, that's if it's too dark in an area and you think maybe you need to lighten it up just to bring it, do it. But trust your gut too. If that's a strength, that's how I think about it. It's like I'm going to do what I do. And if they want an adjustment, I will adjust it afterwards. But I will show them exactly what I feel about this piece, exactly how I want it to be uh, coming across. Hope that made sense.
So Alex, we've got just over 20 minutes left.
Okay. Okay. I'll wrap this up and really for I want to see you guys do tons of color explorations for whatever frame you guys pick. I want you guys to just be bold. Don't worry about perfection. Do color keys. I will show you what I mean here in just a second. I have examples of that. Um, one of my the final things that I do is I go into the blur and to unify the edges. Take it to 3% and I add grain that's just enough. I zoom in for this and it's barely visible, but it breaks things up. And yeah, it's you can still feel like it's some areas are cut and paste and whatnot, but it breaks it up. What I what I also like to do to get a lens is iris blur, the lens effect. Things that are going to be closer here, I want that to sort of be softer. Again, I'm going to go in after you blur. It's good to break it up with grain. Boom. And then you go back in and you erase whatever else is not this, right? I'm not adding lens aberration or any of that. I like to imagine that this movie was shot on a good camera. So just adjusting small stuff. Uh, by all means, this isn't final, but it could be used as a final. I mean, this is probably all the client needs at the end of the day. So, and what I do like to do, I mean, this is my 4,000 pixel, but it's not that huge. But I do like to down res it afterwards because it does compress. It is part of the thing that I do. It does compress all that detail and it kind of groups it together. The artifacts, whatever, the grain, it brings it closer. And I can do it again afterwards if I feel like it needs maybe another pass and I'm paying attention to how the edges will change due to the grain. So I'm going to position it right. Come here, add grain, but not too much. I don't want to. It's just enough. You can barely see it. Just enough. It just breaks up. It breaks it all up. In fact, this percent here, yeah, it's very subtle.
Which blur tool was that?
The blur tool, I will go back to it in just a second. The blur tool is filter, blur gallery, and any of these really. Field blur, iris blur, it just depends on how you use it. Tilt shift is cool. Tilt shift can get you nice stuff like the bokeh, and let's say this is the light in the distance here. You can maybe the bokeh, yeah, there you go. All this stuff, all these shapes. I mean, if I wanted a long lens shot, this stuff could come in handy. And again, after you've done something like that, you up the grain a little, because there's always grain with something like this. I want to break it up just ever so slightly. Now it feels more naturalistic. But yeah, it's filter, blur, gallery. I don't like to use this stuff very much, but it's more blur, gallery. Boom, right there. I want to see how this looks black and white really quick. File. So I'm going to do the saturation. This is the most accurate way, I think, to check your values. And it's completely dark. Completely unreadable. What the hell did you do? You're fired. No, I'm kidding. I think it reads all right. Some low light stuff happening. Maybe really quickly, all I want to add to make sense of all this low light crap is make the light feel like it would be low light because of all the I think now that's probably better. I know I didn't add it to that, but oh well. Yeah. Anyway, compositionally, this light with this spot here is framing whatever it is. So your eye is traveling. It is. If this was dark, then this would probably fail and fall apart. It's just a girl staring into darkness because this is unreadable. But because there's this to gauge off of from this, and then this is a third read, and the cigar is right there. It pops, and then the face slowly recedes. There's something really uncomfortable about this. But we are focused on her reaction. Reaction of what? Whatever she's trying to do, or if she's trying to talk or comfort. I just got lucky with the facial expression, but reverse engineering into this, that's what you do. You pull a lot of reference. If this is for a client and she needs to look scared, you think through movies where an actor was looking scared, and you pull that. You can use that to your advantage. Be fearless with this type of stuff when it comes to photo bashing. Just alter it enough and change it enough so it doesn't look like it's a direct grab. I mean, this kind of looks like the actor from Barry Lyndon, but it's so out of context. I think not a lot of people would notice. Well, whatever. I don't care.
Eric has a question.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Alex. Have you ever gotten
Yes.
a good explanation for the difference in result between the hue saturation slider and the technique you just did with the black and white layer set to saturation mode.
Well, the best way to do it kind of is I mean, I think this is just more accurate. This is more accurate as opposed to, okay, let's see. Right? And then this to the hue saturation, right? Desaturating. I think there's, you see the difference. There is a difference. I think to me, this feels more accurate in terms of actual value, the value of the color, the value, how we see the light, what is dark. And I think probably this is, I guess it depends. I don't know. I mean, because there's some areas that, no, I think actually probably the reason why I'm using the layer mode is because a good friend of mine, Phil Saunders, showed it to me a long time ago, and he's like, and he kind of convinced me. He's like, no, this has been actually proven that it is one of the most accurate things. There's many ways to do it, but this is probably the most accurate way to go about it. So I'm kind of going off of that. I used to do the hue saturation stuff, but I noticed the results were a lot more powerful doing this. So, yeah, just personal opinion. You can do other stuff. I do this thing as well, but it's really for light. But this is kind of closer to what I'm doing with the layer. This saturation mode is the same thing. This is different. I'm just looking at the face here. So.
Yeah, Marie just shared a link for value, and Jonathan saying that just changing the value or the color proof to gray gamma 2.2. I guess they're just trying to realize what is the correct or better formula to use.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, if you guys feel like you might be discovering something better, share it. I mean, really, it's just for quick checking. You kind of want to train your eyes so you don't have to depend on that. That's my opinion. Kind of want to hone your sensibilities. So even without it, you can be like, ah, that feels right. That doesn't, and adjust accordingly. So
Yeah, Alex.
yeah.
I do that too, and it's definitely, you're not right. It's definitely more accurate. I was curious if you'd ever heard an explanation as to why.
As to why, technically, no, not really. I mean, not really. Just I trust a word from a friend, and I trusted it because he's a pretty brilliant artist himself, and so on and so forth. But but technically, I don't really know why.
Yeah, me neither. It's true. I've tested it, but I ask everybody because I'm always looking for the answer, like why they made it that way.
Yeah. What is the color keys? The color exploration. Just keep it really rough, kind of how when I started the painting. If you guys watch the videos back again, very rough. You want to explore it. This is just other personal work which I might never finish. Just very, very find the mode to be in. This example is probably not the best example because it's very chaotic. If I was to bring this to a more cinematic world, I would limit the palette a little bit. This is more in a sense of a traditional painting. But this, for example, this is more of a color. This is kind of what I'm looking for. Find how you want to, after you've established the light, you start blocking it and you start applying photos, paint into it. Don't try not to leave too much of the photo to do the work for you. Try to paint into it and then reapply, have fun with it. Define the shapes. If there's certain things that you want to pop, the structure of whatever it might be, the cheekbone, for example, in this painting, I really made sure I accentuated that, the round brush or whatever. If you feel tempted to use mixer, do it. I'm still kind of loving exploring that, and the cool way mixer works is you pay attention to this box up here in the corner, and you're sampling, right? You're sampling, so you're going to be painting with that. I know it's probably hard to see, but that's the texture you're painting with. So that's pretty cool, right? So you are now mindfully like, oh, this side's going to be dark. You can create pretty believable edges. And since if you're sampling from a photo, you're kind of already using the grit and the texture of a photo to do these small, subtle adjustments. Or you can do an entire wash of a painting and whatnot, and then paint on top of it. I'm going to break this apart, whatever, establish dark, light, whatever. Start picking away at these edges. Get the eye sockets in, whatever. And get, you sort of, you're already applying color into it by exploring. I mean, these are weird greens that's happening, and I'm just sort of doodling, but it's not, you know, nothing is set in concrete. One thing to keep in mind is when your values are working well, any color will work, really. You can be as crazy as you want. Just limit yourself for cinematic sake. Don't go too rainbowy. Do 3 colors at most, and you can always branch off from that. Remember, a gray. Think relationship-wise. You saw me do it here. This used to be a blue. There's used to be grays here. Actually, that's something I want to adjust before this is over. But just get the feeling of light refracted on whatever surface this might be, but that's enough, right? just an indication of this going onto this surface, and then there's something matte here. And yeah, be mindful of the surfaces that you're painting. Whoa, nope. Okay. There were lights here too, huh? There was this shit that I was doing. Boink. Boink. I don't know what that does, but oh well. It's there now. Can't fix it. It's over. It's over. All right. That's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed. This is so distracting. Holy fuck. Hold on a second. I'm just gonna tone it down. Try to stay away from lens flares. That crap, it's only gonna flatten out your piece more. You want to place the viewer in your set piece cinematically, but you don't want to show them a piece. You don't want to show your client a piece that says you're staring at this through a lens. A good movie always does that for a viewer, is you're in the moment. But when something deliberately goes out of its way to be shaky camera and adds tons of lens flares, it's for an effect, it's for a tone, fine. But in my opinion, it always pulls you out. It keeps you at the movie theater seat as opposed to in the world or your couch, wherever you're watching it from. Hope that makes sense.
Awesome. Thank you for the class today. That was a lot of fun.
Cool. Yeah.
A lot of nice feedback, and we're gonna have to close it for today, but see everyone next week, and good luck on the homework assignment.
Yes, guys, please give me a lot. Do a lot of color variations. Give me 20 to 30 for your 1 to 2 frame sequence. Just explore, be bold, see where it leads you lighting wise. If it changes or inspires different lighting, do it. Don't hold back. This is the time right here to do this. I don't want to limit you guys with ideas. I want you guys to spawn with more, but move forward from the black and whites.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Stay in touch on Artist of the Week, and we'll see you next week, Alex.
Cool, guys.
Okay. Bye for now.
All right. Bye.